Hey everyone, I got the 8L90 valve body on my bench all cleaned up now, and we discussed the pulse dampeners on the teardown video, and I kind of wanted to get a little deeper into the pulse dampener wear on the 8L90s and why it's so critical. And so in the 8L90 there's 7 different pulse dampeners, and they control, they're in different circuits for all the different clutches that apply, the variable line pressure and torque converter clutch. And all these solenoids, they pulse, and as they pulse they create peaks and valleys, and they create you know fluctuations that these little dampeners will absorb and take the hit, because there's a lot of pounding back and forth with those up to peaks and valleys. And to keep the regulator valves from taking the hit, these little pulse dampeners are put in to take the damage, and they take some damage. So here's the worst out of this particular valve body. That's the worst one there. Here's what a good one looks like. You can see this is all from the anodizing coming off right there. And so these, as they lose their anodizing, they are eating into the aluminum casting as well. These are actually harder than the aluminum casting, so as bad as these look, the bores are even worse. This is an oversized Transgo pulse dampener. It is steel. We'll have to actually machine the valve body out to accept these. And this is the Sonex drop-in pulse dampener. Spring there. The sleeve actually will act as the sealing place for it, and then this sleeve will sit inside the bore and kind of take the place of the worn bore. Now, I like to use the drop-in ones on bores that are not as bad. There's usually about 3 or 4 bores that are severely worn, that take the most damage, but there's usually 3 or maybe 4 that don't. And so I use the drop-in valves in those bores that are in pretty good shape. But if they're bad enough, I'm gonna have to machine them out. I don't feel comfortable putting one of these drop-in ones in a severely worn bore. So I believe this one here is going to be, one of them is really rough. There's a step I can feel right there. And if we put this one in, see how it's got a bit of a loose fit to it there. I'm gonna machine that one out. See how it rocks back and forth? That's not good. Typically, you'll see this one here might be in good shape. Yeah, see that one? There's not a lot of movement there. That bore is not too bad. I'd consider putting a drop in there. And so you can take a scribe or pick, and you can run down the bore wall, and you can hear that ledge I'm hitting. Really good ledge there. And so those have to be addressed for this transmission to work properly, because if those pulse dampers are allowed to be in there, they're leaking pressure by. They're not absorbing the shock, and they're going to the regulators, are causing irregular line pressure to the clutches, to the converter. You get odd shifts, you can get hard shifts, you can get slipping shifts, and it's not good for longevity of the transmission or shift feel. So we have to address these, along with putting in the rest of the shift kit into the other parts of the valve body. There's some machining along with that, but these are the most critical ones that you can see the difference and what's good and what's bad. So thanks for watching. I just wanted to show it up a little more in close. We talked about it a little bit. Just kind of want to show you on the backside here what it actually looks like and how bad these things can get.